and that exactly, what they told Dred Scott. But I like to point out that, as you said, a lot of us are Dred Scott right now to this day. And why is that? Dred Scott, he didn't know that he was Moroccan. The court knew that he was Moroccan, but he didn't identify as Moroccan. He identified as, a Negro. But what makes that so significant, I'll say 80% of the Moors, on planet Earth right now, and you can look online, they understand that they're Moors. So, they have a step ahead of Dred Scott. But, the thing about the Moors in the 21st century, they don't understand how to enforce the contract. And, as always, man, I got to give a shout out, to J. Bey. This is what, he taught us.
Mm-hmm.
He taught us the four elements of a contract. Number one, the parties must be known. Number two, who's superior and who's inferior. Number three, what are the terms and conditions? And number four, how do you enforce the contract? And, that principle was so monumental to me because it put me in a perspective to where when I read the documents, the treaties, or, any master contract, it was certain things that I was able to identify that I, couldn't identify at first. But my point in bringing the four elements of a contract up is because Moors can't get past the first box. They say, okay, well, yeah, I'm a Moor. But then they turn around and say, okay, well, I'm Moorish American. They say that I'm a Moor. Then, some may say, okay, but, I know I'm Indian. And, not understanding from the strict legal context, you're naming two different jurisdictions. You're naming, two different statuses and class of people. And, these names, they have different rights that come up under the classification. But, Moors, again, they have a head up on Dred Scott because they already know that they're Moors. Now they just need to understand the four elements of a contract so they can learn how to properly enforce the contract and get the rights and protections that are due to the Jura Moroccan nationals of the Empire of Morocco.